Okay, welcome everyone. We're so excited to have you in this intro class today. And our goal is to help educate you on how to use oils, what they're for, all the benefits. I know many of us on this call have had significant life improvements, I'll say it that way, from these oils. So we're going to share with you some stories today and some info that I hope will brighten your day and give you lots of empowerment in your future. I know that's really what it did for our family, is that we saw some pretty drastic changes in our life when we started empowering ourselves with these plant remedies. And so I'm going to hand it over to Adi to kick it off and talk about why we should even consider using some of the things that we do in our home.
Thanks, Ellie. I always say that I get to talk dirty. I get to talk about the toxins and the horrible part, but probably the most important part, because it's really important to be aware of what and why we're using certain things in our home and how to get rid of them. Because very few people actually understand how many toxins they have hiding in their home. And there's absolutely no judgment, because before we were educated, before I was educated, I had a multitude of products in my home that were absolutely a no-no. So I've now got rid of everything, but we all started in the same place. So just know that there's absolutely no judgment. There was a study done in 2015 where they found that an average individual was pouring about 33 liters of toxic chemicals down their drain. So when you wash up after you've eaten, or your dishwasher, all these toxins from the products that you're using are going down your drain and into our water supply, and somehow getting back into the water that we're drinking, and also going out to the sea. And they were finding these huge effects that were happening on our marine life, because these products that we're using in our home have what we call endocrine disruptors, means that they disrupt hormones. So they were disrupting the hormones in our marine life, and they were finding that male fish were having eggs in their testicles, and that 1 in 10 male frogs were found to actually be mutating and becoming female. And the same way that these endocrine disruptors are affecting our marine life, they're affecting us as humans as well. And what they do is, an endocrine disruptor actually mimics hormones, not only human, but marine life as well, but it mimics our hormones. So they look like hormones, they act like hormones, but they aren't hormones, and our body really has a tough time getting rid of these hormones. And you just need to understand what hormones do in our body, because they play a really important part in our body. They're responsible for our reproductive system, they're responsible for our sleep patterns, for the way we manage weight, they're responsible for our emotions, and they're responsible for our reproductive system. And that's why when you're using these products and they're having this huge effect on our hormones, we're finding so many people these days really struggling with fertility. In women, we find problems with menstruating, with early onset of menopause, with early onset of menstruation. And also in men, we're finding huge problems in men, because these endocrine disruptors are not only limited to women. In men also, they're causing issues with their testosterone and with their sperm counts. So it's really affecting all of us. And the problem with these, which they're called xenoestrogens, which are like synthetic estrogens. And as women, we don't want this buildup of estrogen in our body. It causes havoc in our body. And our liver normally has no issue getting rid of hormones. So our hormones are produced, our body uses them, and once they're used, our liver breaks them down and gets rid of them. But these synthetic hormones that are in these products that we're using, our body can't get rid of. And so they accumulate in our body. It's called bioaccumulation. And they accumulate in our body, and our body actually makes more fat cells to store these toxins, which sounds absolutely awful. The average woman uses about 515, well, she's exposed to about 515 different synthetic toxins during the day. So you can imagine how many of these are playing havoc on our hormonal system. And unfortunately, when it comes to our products that we're using in our home, and it's not limited to our cleaning products, also to our beauty products, to our makeup, our shampoos, our toothpastes, all of those things, is that there's absolutely no regulation. It's like the Wild West, and companies can put whatever they want in their products, and they don't actually have to disclose what ingredients they're using. For instance, my pet hate is when products have the word fragrance on, because they don't have to disclose what's in that word fragrance, because it's their secret scent that they're using, and they can hide up to 300 different toxic chemicals just in that one word fragrance. And they've likened lighting a fragrance candle to be as bad as smoking a cigarette. So whenever you see the word fragrance on the back of a label, you know you need to run as fast as you can. And even some of these products that they claim are clean, if you actually look at the back of the ingredients, you'll see that there's always the word, not always, most of the time, you'll see the word fragrance or parfum, and you know that they are hiding some chemicals in there. So you need to be very aware of that and start reading your labels. I think the first thing is to be aware and read your labels. And if you're not sure if something's clean or not clean, there's a great website called ewg.org, and you just click on Skin Deep and you can type in whatever product you have. They've got a huge database of about 70,000 products, and they will give you a reading from 0 to 9, whereas 9 is the most toxic and 0 is clean. So if you're unsure if a product is safe to use, then I highly suggest you go and do your research on ewg.org. They also have amazing articles and things to read. Just getting back to the chemicals that we use, there are over 3 million different chemicals on the market at the moment, and only 1% of these chemicals have been tested. And of the 2,938 chemicals tested, 884 were found to be toxic, 146 were found to cause tumors, 218 caused reproductive complications, 778 caused acute toxicity, 314 caused biological mutations, and 376 caused skin and eye irritations. So the bottom line is that we don't need these chemicals to clean our homes, and we don't need these chemicals to feel beautiful. It's very easy to swap out these chemicals with essential oils and essential oil infused products, but you have to be very careful with what company you choose to use these oils, because all companies are not created equal. And I think I'm just going to go straight into why we choose Young Living. So when it comes to the essential oil market, there's no rating of an oil. So when you go to a shop and you see an oil sitting on your local supermarket, you don't actually know what's in that bottle of oil. And just because it's labeled pure or organic, it actually only has to be 5% essential oil to be labeled that. The rest is filled with just rubbish and toxins and yuck. So what sets Young Living apart is their Seed to Seal stamp. So you'll see on all their products, they have the Seed to Seal, you'll see a Seed to Seal stamp, which is basically their guarantee that they are providing you with the best quality essential oils you can get on the market. They watch from the seed, from when the seed is planted in the soil to when the oil is bottled in the bottle. There's no toxins, no pesticides, it's completely controlled, and you know exactly what is in that bottle. Their Seed to Seal guarantee means that they are not using pesticides or weed killers on their farms. In fact, on the lavender farm in Mona, they actually hand weed the weeds instead of using weed killers. They don't manipulate the oils in any way for smell. If you went out into your garden and picked up some lavender and wrapped it between your fingers, that smell that you smell between your fingers is exactly what you're going to smell in the bottle. It's not manipulated for any kind of smell or perfume. They don't use genetically modified seeds, and they don't distill with solvents. So a lot of the oils you'll find in your local shops, they distill with solvents because it's cheaper for them and they get more oil out of the distillation, but the solvents that they use are toxic. Their soil is so important. So because Young Living owns their own farms, they completely control the state of their soil. And most of the time, the soil that they use is either a completely virgin soil or it's soil that hasn't seen a pesticide for over 50 years. So as Gary Young, the founder of Young Living, said, if you don't know your soil, you don't know your oil. So the fact that Young Living owns their own farms, and they're the only company in the world that do, speaks a lot for the way that they can guarantee the quality of the oil that they put in their bottle. And they don't just farm wherever they are. They have farms all over the world. So they will farm where that plant is the best plant to grow that specific. For frankincense, for example, is grown in Oman. They will find the best place to grow a certain plant or tree or flower to get the best quality essential oil. And they have so many different highly trained scientists that understand exactly the right time of day to distill oil. So like for jasmine, for example, they know that jasmine has to be hand-picked early in the morning before the sun rises on the first day that the flowers open. So they have a team of highly trained scientists that knows exactly when the best time of the day is to distill these oils. And the other great thing about Young Living is that they encourage you to go and visit their farms. So they are completely transparent, completely authentic. They're not hiding anything, and they really just guarantee the best quality essential oils. I think I've spoken enough. I could go on all day about Young Living. I'm handing over to Anna, maybe.
I think it's me.
Oh, to Sam.
Hello, everybody. I'm Sam, and I'm going to talk to you about the 3 ways that you can use your essential oils. So the first way, and probably the most obvious way, is inhalation. And you can do that in lots of different ways. So you can put your oils in your diffuser, which comes with your starter kit. I think in America you've got options on what diffuser you get, but in South Africa we get the dew drop diffuser, which is this little one that I've got over here. And the next way of inhalation would be to make a scent tent, so to put a drop of oil into the palm of your hands and rub your hands together and do a few deep breaths. You can smell it directly from the bottle. You can put it in your hair and make your whole sulfur diffuser. There's some people on I don't know if Serena's on here, but her husband actually puts the oil into his beard, into his moustache. So that's like a kind of diffuser on his face. And then, I mean, the benefits of diffusing is that of actually using the diffuser is that the particles are then inhaled and they land on your skin. So everything that you put onto your skin is absorbed into your bloodstream. I think they say that once you put anything onto your skin, it's absorbed into your bloodstream within 28 seconds. So obviously that's then landing on your skin as well, which leads into the next way that you can use your oils is topically, so directly onto your body. And we have a saying that you should start slow and low. So if you're new to essential oils, to just use caution in how quickly you add them into your routine, because you don't want to burn yourself, because some oils are hot oils like peppermint. Thieves is a little bit warm, cinnamon, those kinds of oils will be hot to the touch or kind of cool hot in the case of peppermint. So to always dilute when you start. So there's some oils which you'll learn as you go along that you can apply without any dilution. When you're starting with children especially, I would say that you must always dilute. I had a terrible experience with my daughter. I was just like balls to the wall. I wanted to fix this child immediately. And I used quite a hot oil on her tummy, which was very warm. She instantly went red and screamed, and luckily I had tips at hand to apply coconut oil or another fatty substance straight away to just try and dilute the oil on the skin. So nice ways to use your oils topically would be on the soles of your feet. We've got the biggest pores on the soles of our feet. So there's huge amounts of absorption that happens there. And then whoever invited you to the class can maybe send you a chart on the VitaFlex points. So those are different points on the soles of your feet which correlate with the organs in your body or different parts of your body. So that's a really nice way to use them. We use a lot of oils in our belly buttons. I find that that's a great spot for absorption. Up and down your spine is really great for, especially for like wellness rollers and those kind of things. Otherwise, directly onto the part of your body that you need the oil. So if you've got sore muscles, put the oil directly onto wherever the sore muscles are. And then the last way to use the oils is ingestion. So when we speak about ingestion, we only speak of Young Living oils. Not all oils are safe for ingestion. So please don't go to the pharmacy and buy some oil and put it in your water and drink it. You will probably get sick. But a nice way to use the oils is to pop a drop of like the citrus oils, like lemon or orange, into your water, which makes drinking water a lot more appetizing. Especially if you live in a place where the water tastes funny. It's really great to add some lemon and orange or any of the other citrus oils to your water. Or we all do something called Thieves Tea when you're feeling a little bit snotty, or like you've got a cold coming on, to add some Thieves to hot water with some lemon and some honey. That's a really nice, warm, soothing drink. If you're giving the oils or trying to give your oils to children orally, to put some into a teaspoon of honey. So put some honey on the teaspoon first, then pop a drop of the oil into the honey, and then some more honey on top of that, so that it kind of masks the taste of the oil. Another way to use it in ingestion would be to cook with it. And then my favorite way to use oils at the moment is sublingually, which is to pop a drop under your tongue and then to hold it there for 20 seconds. Because it really then absorbs into your body, and to put them into capsules. So depending on where you want the oil to go, you know, if you want gut healing, you want that oil in your stomach. So to put 2 or 3 drops of whatever oil it is that you need, and then fill that capsule with a carrier oil. When I talk about capsules, I mean like empty veggie capsules, which you can buy from wellness stores and whatnot. And you want to fill it with a carrier oil so that it's heavy, so that actually sinks down into your stomach, because otherwise it kind of gets stuck on the way down and creates kind of oily burps, we call them, which is not that pleasant. And those are the 3 ways you can use them. One thing I wanted to add is that when you're using your oils, don't ever put them anywhere near your eyes, or near your eyes is fine, not too close to eyes, or into your ears. So around your ears, you can use them for earache and ear infections and things, but you don't want to ever put them into your ears or into your eyes. If you do get them into your eyes, to have a carrier oil or a fatty substance nearby to kind of wash it out. So I've done that and put coconut oils directly in my eye, and it really has helped to soothe the sting of the oil in your eyes. And that's me, and I think I'm handing back to Ali.
Thank you, guys. Amazing job. I love it. So I wanted to go back to one thing that I just want to mention with you guys, because Adie did an amazing job talking about how powerful Young Living oils are, and so did Sam. And I want to just explain something, because I saw a really cool documentary this week that reconfirmed all the things that I had been learning for years, just about how our medicines have always been plants. And what happened in the early 1900s was that the chemical industry, realized that they could make a copy of a plant out of a petrochemical, and by copying the chemical constituent of that plant. So really, if there is a medicine made, there is almost certainly a plant that can do the same thing. So I just want to empower you guys even more so to know that there's an oil for that. There is an oil for that. And then that really leads me into Young Living has more oils than any company in the world. We have almost, I think, 300 different singles and blends combined. So holy cow, where do you start? I mean, we started as a supplement company and became an essential oil company. And then we moved to all kinds of household products and cleaning products, you name it. Like we really, as my daughter says, we have everything except for nail polish and hair coloring. But pretty much we have everything else. So where do you start, right? So what Young Living has done is they've put together these extremely discounted starter kits. Not because we need to discount the value of the kit, but because we want people to start with more than just one oil so that you are empowered as like basically a medicine cabinet replacement. So every single country has a specially curated starter kit that looks very similar to this. And in that starter kit, you will find an oil for pretty much every single body system except for balancing hormones. Okay, so didn't really go there with the starter kit. Everything else you can work on: your digestive system, your respiratory system, your sleep, your emotions. All of that is included. So what we're going to do, because we have people from all over the world on this call, is we're just going to talk through some stories of some of the oils that come in all the starter kits and how they've really impacted our lives and made us feel empowered. So this is your start, but this is a lifestyle and it's a journey. So you will, we have tons of classes on all the things, and you will be informed on all the oils and have all the resources. But we just want to talk about this oil starter kit because it needs more explanation than other kits. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to the lovely Pam.
Thanks, Ellie. This is only my third time speaking, so I'm still a little bit nervous and I get a bit tongue-tied, and so I'm just going to apologize for that humbly now. I've got so many stories. My biggest one has to be lavender. I went into oils knowing that frankincense and thieves were going to be my ultimate favorite because of the history and the biblical side to it. But lavender has come to my rescue on billions of occasions. I have always had product on my nails, and last year I became quite allergic to gelish and acrylic and all of that, and my nails were lifting from the tips up. And lavender is an antifungal as well as the Swiss Army knife of all the oils. And I started to apply that once I'd gotten rid of all the other products, and my nails actually stuck to the nail beds. I use it in most of my recipes for antihistamines. I've sometimes used it for menstrual cramps, stings, scratches and bumps and bruises. The biggest story for me was in the beginning of lockdown, when we were it was level 5. It was about 5:30 in the morning. It was freezing. My 6-year-old daughter was awake, and I made her a hot water bottle, and I poured boiling hot water into the bottle, and it burst on her leg, and she had a 2nd-degree burn. My husband, who's a paramedic, put her under freezing cold water for about 30 minutes just to cool down the skin. All her skin was actually off, so it was just like this meaty leg. And she was screaming, she was hysterical, she was in so much pain, and eventually I got an application of lavender onto her. I literally poured the bottle over her, and I wrapped up in a bandage, and at 9:30 in the morning I managed to get her to the burn unit, and but about 30 seconds after I'd put on the lavender, she stopped crying. Her whole body relaxed. So it's like it's a calming oil as well. It's a natural analgesic. So it was just amazing how it worked straight away. But the biggest thing is with a 2nd-degree burn, you need to have these dressings changed twice a week for about 3 weeks. And within, I'm not sure if it was 10 or 12 days, that plaster came off. The lady at the burn unit couldn't believe from one application that she didn't need any more plasters. And since then I've got a roller top on the frankincense, and she's got no scar at all from a 2nd-degree burn. And I'm not that consistent. I was in the beginning. Sometimes I forget to apply it, sometimes I apply it twice a day, but she's got no scar, which is incredible. Also, 2 out of 4 kids during this lockdown had dental surgery. So my daughter, who's obviously in the wars, had a massive abscess on her tooth, and she needed surgery. And just before the surgery, and for my 3-year-old as well, I put lavender and Vala on the base of skull and on their wrists, and I did a scent tent, and they went into surgery completely calm. They didn't fight anesthesia. They were just fine. And then, I don't know if you know how anesthetic works neurologically. It puts you into a really deep sleep, and then when they take you out, it's like a fast release, and so it makes a lot of people crazy, especially kids. So when they come out of anesthesia, they fight, and they try and, you know, physically fight you, and they scream, and they tense, and they just mad. And the surgeons and the nurses couldn't believe how they just came out calm and happy, and were like good to go, had something to drink. It was just like amazing. Also, I'm trying to think now. I can't even remember. My brain's gone a little bit fried. But let me tell you what lavender is good for. It's like super amazing. Anxiety, burns, it's antifungal, antibacterial, analgesic. It's good for rashes, skin allergies, stings, wounds, nose sprays. Brilliant for nose sprays. It's calming. It's great for sleep. Good for cholesterol, menstrual cramps. It's literally one of the most important oils, and we are so blessed and so privileged to have this little bottle of magic in our starter kit. And that's my story for today, and it's off to Deb.
Thanks, my Pammy. I hope you're all good, guys. Okay, so, God, I could talk forever. I started using Young Living in 2004. I lived in the US, and I was introduced to Young Living by a beautiful friend of mine who I'm still incredibly close to. I am very grateful to her for the introduction. She actually came into my home, and she looked in my cupboards, and she's like, well, this can go, and that can go, and this can go. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Let's just do it all. Okay. She's a nutritionist as well. So I did it with diet and the oils. So just to reiterate, it's very important that you work the diet part of your lifestyle in with the oils, because, you know, there's no point in having these beautiful oils and you're putting them into a body that's actually resisting with just like crap that you're eating. Sorry, mouth, but anyway. So there's a lot of stories that I can tell you. One of the stories, and this oil, Ali, I don't think it comes, I'm just going to talk about peace and calming because I have to. Okay, so peace and calming is probably my most favorite oil. It looks like this. Oh God, me and cameras, not really great. Smells amazing. So when my daughter was 2, I started putting this into her room to sleep. And we also used to put it in her bath for bath time with some Epsom salts, put it in there. So the whole room and everything all smells absolutely amazing for her. And then I used to put her to bed, put a little bit under her feet and diffuse it all in its thank you, good night. Okay, not only that, I actually use Peace and Calming and Valor. Valor is my go-to perfume for many, many years. Peace and Calming, just to finish that story, is when I got to when I came back to South Africa, I couldn't get my Young Living and I was freaked out and what have you. And that's a whole nother issue anyway. But when it arrived, I got her some Peace and Calming and I put it into her bedroom as a surprise for her. And now she's like 16 and she had it from the age of 2 till she was 9. So 7 years every single night, most nights. And then she didn't have it. And then I put it in her room and I said, okay, here we go. She's coming home from school. Yay. She walked into the room. She's like, you're joking, Mom. There's some people on this call who know my daughter and she was absolutely joking. I said, no, I'm not. So you have to also know that these oils have a memory. The same way as dancers have a muscle memory, these oils have a memory. And once you smell these memories, once you smell it, you know, you will do it. It's like going to, you know, smelling the smell of, well, Ellie and the Americans will know this, and I'm like that. The whole cinnamon thing is Thanksgiving for me, okay? Just Thanksgiving. That's it. You know, I smell cinnamon, I'm like, where's the turkey? I want the turkey, let's go. So that for me, it's all about smells, and your smells are so, I mean, it's such a powerful thing. Your nose is so powerful. The minute you inhale something, it changes your mood, it gets into your limbic system, and you're changed, you know. You can smell something really revolting, and you can go, oh my gosh. So, and you smell it fast, and you'll react fast. So the oils do the same thing. Okay, so Valor. I also did a huge detox in the States in 2007 because I come from a very pharmaceutical family. And when my mom passed in 2007, I saw how many pills she was taking. I'm like, what the hell? Are you kidding me? This is ridiculous. I was huge migraine sufferer. I used to inject myself with Imitrex, which is a drug that I used to freak out before putting the injection into my arm or leg or bum or wherever the hell it was, because it used to make my whole brain feel like it would expand, almost explode, and then just release. And it was such an anxiety thing for me. And when my naturopath said to me, are you ready? I'm like, I'm ready. I stopped everything, guys, everything. And the one thing I started was Valor, to give me the courage. I mean, I cleaned out my gut, I cleaned out absolutely everything. So Valor has been my go-to perfume for many, many years, and my dancers who I work with all know me because of the smell, I promise you. They don't realize it, but they do. I see you smiling there, Millie. Yeah, I know you're on this call. So the other thing is that I use a lot is frankincense. And you guys, South Africa gets frankincense and Valor in your kit. Are you nuts? Seriously, these are like gold and then gold. So it's like the big bar of gold all in one that you just don't know what to do. I, of late, have been using a drop of Frank here and a drop of Frank here, a drop under my tongue with the fabulous lemon, which of course is so versatile, it's ridiculous. And it's just, the difference is enormous. And I think one of the most important things is that when you do apply these oils, you need to apply them with intent. You can't just put them on and go, oh, I'm going to feel fabulous after you've had 12 cups of coffee in the morning. No, you have to really get grounded. They allow you to ground yourself and just really be intentional when you use your oils. Because for me, having used for so long, if these oils were not in my home tomorrow, I would literally, there'd be a murder somewhere. I'm also using lavender on my 10-week-old puppy. I'm also using Peace and Calming on my 10-week-old puppy. And I put them on her little ears and I put them under her paws, and it's good night and thank you, which is amazing. So there's so many other oils that I absolutely love. Ali, Raven comes in the US kit, right? Yeah. So Raven's another one which I absolutely adore. Every time I feel kind of congested, or not even congested, I actually use Raven for a pick-me-up. I'm not kidding you. I use Raven for a pick-me-up. So it's got a bright, yummy, wintergreeny, it's just a beautiful, beautiful smell. So I use that a lot. Of late, just to end you off, of late, I have been using, through this lockdown and everything else that I've been through, I have been using a hell of a lot of lavender underneath my feet. And I have to just say, Nature's Ultra CBD Calm Roller is the bomb. The bomb. And of course, it's got lavender in it, and it's got ylang ylang. It's got a whole bunch of other oils, but it really is the bomb. So I don't want to carry on too long, because honestly, I could talk for hours because I've been using for the longest time. But I just encourage everybody to just go for it. Just go for it. What can it hurt? You know, I mean, it can't hurt you. That's the biggest thing for me, is that it can't hurt you. You make your own choices about your lives. You make your own choices about what you put in your mouth. Make really sure what you put on your body and around your home, that's the right choice for you and your kids. So I'll just shut up now and hand over to Anna.
Thanks so much, Deb. Hi, everyone. Yes, I'm Anna, and I'm so excited to share something with you as well. And there are so many oils in that starter kit that I had the most amazing experiences with. But I'll just tell you a little bit about what I experienced. So I have two little girls. My oldest one is 7 now. At the time, she was 5. And I had really been struggling with her since about the age of 1.5 with this chronically blocked nose. And also, honestly, not knowing what was wrong, we went to so many specialists. She had 2 different surgeries. She was also on antibiotics literally every 6 weeks. It was the worst thing to see. I just kept watching her get sick. And then we'd go to the doctor. I was eventually literally begging the ENT to actually take out her tonsils. And they were like, obviously conservative about just doing surgery. But I was like, I think this is traumatizing my child, trying to force these antibiotics into her, not to mention how bad it is for her gut, this repeated use. But we'd also been to the allergy specialist. The antibiotic use got better after the tonsillectomy, but she still had this blocked nose. It was affecting her quality of life. We did allergy tests. She had a CT scan, and they just kept kind of giving her more and more cortisone. And she also was getting a lot of eczema type of, I don't know if it's like a diagnosed eczema, but just rashes. And it was cortisone treatment for that as well. But all these treatments felt like you were trying to treat symptoms. It wasn't even working. Her nose wasn't opening up. They were increasing the strength of the cortisone. And I was just really struggling. And that was the time that I was introduced to the oils. And actually, the very first thing I did when I got home with that starter kit, my first night, and if you knew, I want to tell you that I didn't even know what an essential oil was. The day that I went to my first workshop, which is what we're doing now on Zoom, I still went to for lockdown, a real one, like with people. And I went, and this kit was handed to me, and I got home that night, and I was like grabbing my notes that I'd scribbled on a piece of paper, and I was trying to see about skin, and I saw, okay, lavender and frankincense are fantastic for skin, and I just put it on her, on this rash, and the next night this rash was completely gone, and I thought, wow, this is absolutely amazing. What else can I do with this kit? And then I looked at what nose spray I could make, and I looked at people's recipes, and I decided to make the one where I put a drop of purification and a drop of lavender in a 30 ml saline. And literally within a week, after all these medical interventions that had failed, this natural nose spray opened up her nose. And that just completely transformed her quality of life. And that was a huge experience for me. And that was when I really had my big aha moment, fell madly in love with the oils. And I was like, I'm in this. And then my next experience was with Thieves, because in last winter was my first winter last year, going through a winter with my oils. The year before, I only discovered them in October of 2018. So the year before, my little one was also then a baby, and every 3 to 4 weeks we would be at the GP, and it would be my kids that are starting to get sick, and then you kind of helplessly watch them at home. You're giving them vitamin C. I went through liters of Zinflex, if you guys know that product. It's a zinc supplement for kids. And I would just be doing this and then waiting kind of for them to be sick enough to justify me going to the doctor, because I knew if I go too early, they just can't really do much. You've got to kind of wait till they're sick enough, and then it's an antibiotic. And it was this horrible circle. And then suddenly, with Thieves last winter, and this year it's been the same, I've not been to the doctor. I actually went to pop in to see my GP recently, and she was like, "Did you change doctors?" And I said, "No." She's like, "I never see you. You used to be here every month." And it's been Thieves. So, but what I've learned with the oils is when I see my kids are starting with something, I use it often. And I learned in our community, the secret is little bits often rather than huge amounts once at a time. So I try. It's not always practically possible, but I aim for every 1 to 2 hours, rub it under their feet. And every time I'm just able to nip it in the butt. And I think the secret is really acting. Don't wait till they're foot sick and then try and deal with it. And that those couple of oils, I mean, that alone has been the biggest change in our home. And it's been so empowering for me as a mom. And I mean, there's so many other things I do with those oils, but I want to talk a little bit more about Thieves, because Thieves, I think it's probably Young Living's most famous oil, definitely one of their most popular ones. And I struggle. I mean, there's so many oils that I love, but Thieves, the oil has been such a huge help in my home, but also just the discovery of the Thieves range, because the Thieves is the base for Young Living's cleaning products. So there's a whole range of household products, and I really am not very much of a DIY person, so I don't You know, my version of DIY is you take 3 capsules and add a liter of water. Then I've DIY'd. And that is exactly what the Thieves range entails. And it's been, AD spoke quite extensively on the chemicals, and it was eye-opening for me. I had no idea. But the problem with this information is that once you actually read up on this and you do your research, you can't unlearn it. And then to put those chemicals in your home is horrible because you actually now know what you're doing. And I've loved that. The Thieves range cleans so beautifully. And with that, you buy a concentrate that you literally clean your whole home with. And between that and vinegar and baking soda, I mean, also things that I never would have considered for cleaning, I basically clean my whole home. And I have cleaned ink off surfaces. I have cleaned burnt pots, really burnt things in my oven, and it's really just been amazing what we can do with these products. I make my own laundry soap, but Young Living also has an amazing laundry soap, which I also use sometimes. Again, the laundry soap I made super easy. It's literally purification and lemon and thieves that I throw into a few salts. So yeah, I think it's just it's so easy, and I want to just, as I've explained to you what I've experienced, move into what all the options that we have with Young Living, because what I also very much learned quickly is that this is a lifestyle.
Real fast, would you mind unplugging your headphones? I don't know if it'll help, but the connection is really quite bad.
Is this better?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you nicely.
Yes.
Sorry, did you guys kind of follow me? I don't want to take too much time and repeat it all. Sorry,
no,
guys.
It's fine. I
Okay.
didn't want you to keep going.
Good. Thanks for stopping me. So I want to actually, as I've spoken about these amazing things, just transition into all the options we have to save money with Young Living, because really I realized very quickly that it has to be a lifestyle. It's pointless you try and just use one little oil to deal with one problem and then just ignore all the other things that you're exposing yourself to, which are often triggering the things that you're struggling with. So we've spoken quite a lot about the starter kit, but the starter kit for sure is the best way to start. It's heavily discounted. You save almost 50% taking it as a kit versus buying all these things individually. And the Young Living has a rule now going forward that the only time you can actually buy this kit and get all the discount is with enrollment. So it's the best way to get started. Just register your account and get yourself the starter kit. The benefit also of getting your own account is that you can then get access to the wholesale pricing. You become part of the community so that you can access the apps and all the other information. Deb will give us a bit more detail on it, but the community for me was as important as the product, to really be able to understand everything and how to use everything. So that is really a good way to save. Then what's even a bit better actually is if you make use of Young Living's amazing loyalty program. It's completely optional, but it means if you want to buy your wellness, like your wellness box once a month, the more, if you do this monthly, you start to earn more and more benefits. So we get points back that you can redeem for free products. And it's huge. In your first 3 months, you get 10% back. From the 4th month, you get 20%, which is massive. And after 2 years, you actually get 25% back. In addition to that, the bigger your monthly order is, the more free products you receive every month. You get discounted shipping. You get free products sent to you every 3 months in your first year to thank you for that loyalty. So it's really an amazing program. And also, there's no cost to join it. And if you change your mind after a month or 2 and you decide it's not your thing, you can cancel it again without any penalties. So it's even better when you register your starter kit, immediately jump into the rewards program, get already a couple of freebies linked with your first order. And then, take the next few months and look at all the other things that Young Living offers. Try the Thieves range. You can get a whole Thieves kit, again, discounted. All the kits are discounted. Try switching out your home. Look at Ninja Red, which we're not discussing in this call, but it's an amazing supplement from Young Living, which really is something I believe everybody should be drinking. Look at, using these products on Essential Rewards and see how much you get back, and then you'll get the benefits yourself. And then the absolute best way to save money is also to start sharing what you experience with others, because you all know when we discover something we love, it's part of humanity. We recommend things every day that we like, and we can do that with Young Living too. But the difference is that Young Living's entire business model is based off word of mouth marketing. So when you tell other people about Young Living actually will pay you a referral fee for that. And that's really a fantastic way for you to get something back and get your products a bit cheaper, or even get your products completely paid for. And most people really want to go for that, because who doesn't want to get something back, right? And I just want to mention, Ali, I think we'll go into it a bit more detail, but you also do have the opportunity, if you want to put a bit more effort behind it and actually do it with more intention, you can create an entire income with it. And I just quickly want to say, this is not my thing to talk about tonight, but that has transformed my life. I started doing it when I started 18 months ago, and within 6 months, just part-time sharing, I built a business. I was able to quit my corporate job. I'm now a mum who's at home with my kids and runs my own business, and it's been the best experience. So really, Young Living offers us so many blessings in our lifestyle. So really take the time to find out everything it can do for you, and make sure that you take advantage of all the amazing benefits, because it is so much more than you can ever imagine. But I'm going to hand back to Deb. She's just going to give us a bit more detail on all the support that you have access to when you register your account to really help you get going on this. Thanks, Deb.
Thank you, Anna. So one of the biggest things for me, and people who know me will know this about me, is I love relationships. I love people. I love to get to know them. It's my business. I am in the event and entertainment industry, so it's all about people for me. And one of the biggest things for me in Young Living, just understand that I did not do this business in the States, you guys. So from 2004 till 2018, I was just an oiler. I just used the oils. I didn't think squat about the business. I didn't care. I didn't want to know, whatever. Now we're going to do the business, because now I want to do it, and I love my AD, and I love my Sarah, and I met Ali, and I'm like, I'm in. That's it. I'm in, and I'm going for it. So I joined this community of WhatsApp groups, Facebooks, an app that you can get. It's called Pocket on the Go, which has all Young Living. I'll just show you what it looks like quickly. Sorry. I should have done this before. Big twist, but anyway, it looks like that. Okay. You press blends, single oils, personal usage, safety notes, application techniques. Darling, you need to know nothing. You just open this app and you know a lot of stuff. So there's all that support, okay? So there's that app. You can go on to discoverlsp.com. Somebody please type it in, discoverlsp.com. And you go in there, you register, you get all of it, and suddenly you're like sitting with a friend having a cup of tea or whatever it is, and she goes, oh, I've got such a headache. Well, I know to put peppermint and lavender and all the rest of it, but I go, headache, and come up with the oil. It's too marvelous. That's an amazing thing. Then, Facebook. Ali's Choosing Joy is something else. But because Ali's been doing it for a while, there is so much information, guys. You never, ever, there is no judgment here at all. There's never any judgment. There are WhatsApp groups. There are Choosing Joy groups. There are Voila Sisters group, Voila Africa, right, Adi? Voila Africa. We all just share. There's cross-line groups, there's everything. It's just about connecting with people. There's somebody on this call tonight, Natalia, who's connected with me. And I just love it that she reached out and said, I just want to connect with you. I'm like, cool. So this is what I don't want to even say business, because I don't feel like I'm working. So with all this information that I have, and one thing I did learn is that you don't need to be a professor of oils. Because heck, man, I don't know half the stuff, but I will go and look, and I will go and find out, and I will just let you know. I'll get back to you, or I'll keep you on the phone or whatever. But the biggest thing for me the thing I use the most is Ali's Choosing Joy, Voila Africa, my LSP, and Zoom calls, darling. These Zoom calls are intense. We do Zoom calls about pets. And we record everything. So you want something, dude, we'll send it to you. Zoom calls about pets. We do Zoom calls about hormones. We have Zoom calls about men only, which I don't know why, but I got super nervous talking on. If you guys remember, I couldn't even remember the ways to friggin' use the damn oils. But anyway, and what else did I write down here? just everything. Oh, there's a Wild Share app as well. So there's a Young Living Share app, which has got so much information on it. And I mean, it's amazing. And then there's also a live chat that if you have a problem during the day, you get on the live chat. Or if you have a problem at night, you call them in the States and they'll answer your call there. So there is, I also don't believe that you can know everything, because if I stop learning, then you must just shoot me in the head, because I want to keep learning all the time, all the time, all the time. And by talking to other people and listening to their stories and understanding what can be done, their baby stories that you guys would not even believe, horses, dogs, it's just bizarre. This is a lifestyle. When you choose, because there's no if in this life, there's when. Because if I was a car, it'd be a friggin' Maserati. So when you choose to slip over into Young Living, there is this plethora of information and nobody's judging you. If you feel overwhelmed, talk up. I'm overwhelmed. It's overwhelming. Okay, well, don't look this, and call me. I'll help you to just siphon out what you need to do, because it can be overwhelming at first. And that is why the community of Young Living is absolute gold for when you sign up. I'll just shut up now. Who am I handing over to? I don't even know who I'm handing
It's
over
me.
to.
I'm next. Thank you,
Yeah.
Deb.
How to get
I
started
love
in the community. It's my alley. Go, Alley.
Thank you so much, Deb. I love your energy. So I just want to talk about ways to get started. So we've already talked about, definitely get started with the starter kit. So please, please, please reach out to the person who sent you here, because when this is a referral-based business. So when you sign up with the person who referred you, they get to plug you into all the resources that Deb was just talking about. So we will make sure to hold your hand all along the way, and you will be babysat through this process, and you will get as much or as little information as you so choose. So that is just, please reach out to the person who sent you. The next thing is our next classes. So tomorrow I'm super excited that Vanessa is speaking. She is a dermatologist and in Cape Town. And she is really like how South Africa started, is that she was on the hunt for a solution for her practice that was true, organic, beyond organic standard essential oils that she could use in her practice, as she started to realize that what she had been taught in medical school was not helping her patients. So really excited about the call tomorrow. And then Thursday is the perfect class for a newbie as well. It's called I Have My Kit, Now What? So both of those classes are same link, same time. You just got to copy and paste it on your calendar. And we are so happy to have you here, and just honored that you spent this last hour with us.